Hello everyone. In this video, we'll cover the current affairs from January 11 to January 20. Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas has been appointed as the next IMF's chief economist. So he's a French-born economist, and he would succeed Geeta Gopinath, the first woman to serve as the fund's chief economist. So we all know, students, that Indo-American Geeta Gopinath, she's the current chief economist of IMF, and she was recently elevated to number 2 position. She's been appointed as the deputy managing director of IMF. So now she would be replaced by Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas as the chief economist. Some important takeaways: IMF fund was formed in 1945, headquartered in Washington. It has got a total of 190 member countries, and the current managing director, Kristalina Georgieva. Next, students, Mission Olympic Cell adds 10 athletes to the TOPS list. So TOPS stand for Students Target Olympic Podium Scheme. So the government has, started this scheme to prepare the athletes, the top athletes for the Olympics. And it's a fully functional scheme, and it provides requisite support to the players. So Mission Olympic Cell has been created by and under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and it takes care of this scheme. It runs the scheme basically. So it has now added new entrants. 5 athletes have been included in the core group, while 5 have been added to the development group students. So we did see that this scheme has worked for India. This time India's performance in the Olympics was the best so far. And now they are working and they're targeting Olympics 2024, the Paris Olympics. So they've added some new athletes to the list. And these are the names of the athletes you can see on the screen. So Aditi and Mirza and Anirban and Diksha and Muhammad Arif Khan. So they've been added to the core group. Next, students, Center appoints Vikram Dev Dutt as the new CMD of Air India. So senior bureaucrat Vikram Dev Dutt has been appointed as the chairman and managing director of Air India. He's taken over Rajiv Bansal. So prior to this, he was the principal secretary in Delhi government. And the center had in October last year accepted Tata's Sun bid of rupees 18,000 crore to acquire 100% of the debt-laden state-run carrier. We know that Tata has won this bid, and they've already signed the sale purchase agreement with the government. However, the bid is not completed yet. Next, students, rocket scientist S. Somnath appointed as new ISRO chief. So Indian Space Research Organization has announced the appointment of eminent rocket scientist Dr. S. Somnath as its new chairman and space secretary, and he will succeed K. Sivan, who completes his extended tenure. So K. Sivan is known as the rocket man of India, and ISRO saw accelerated growth under him. But now he'd be replaced by S. Somnath as the new ISRO chief. So Mr. Somnath is an expert in a host of disciplines, including launch vehicle design. He's specialized in launch vehicle systems, engineering, structural design, structural dynamics, all the areas that are critical to the working of ISRO. And he's an IISc, Indian Institute of Science pass out, and comes with a stellar track record. He's currently the director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center students in Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram. And he was a team leader for the integration of the PSLV during his early phases of the career. Some important takeaways: ISRO headquartered in Karnataka and established in 1969. Next, students, Center will hold 35.8% stake of Vodafone Idea in the form of equity. So we all know, students, that Vodafone Idea is a loss-making firm. It's a debt-ridden firm. And basically it had to pay back the government rupees 16,000 crore as interest liability. So what they've done is they've converted that into equity, and this would give government 35.8% stake in Vodafone Idea, making the government the largest shareholder in Vodafone Idea. And this is India's 3rd largest network, and it has approved the interest on the spectrum and adjusted gross revenue dues into government equity. So now the Indian government will own almost 35.8% stake, followed by Vodafone Group, which owns 28.5% and 17.8% by Aditya Birla Group. Next, students, Tata Group replaces Chinese mobile manufacturer Vivo as IPL title sponsor. So the Board of Control for Cricket in India has informed that Tata Group has replaced Chinese mobile phone manufacturer Vivo as the title sponsor of Indian Premier League for the 2022 and 2023 seasons. And the multinational conglomerate will pay rupees 300 crore per year as the title sponsor for IPL for the next 2 seasons. This is about 60% of Vivo would have paid. And some important takeaways: Tata Group founder Jamshedji Tata, founded in 1868, headquartered in Mumbai, and chairman of the board at Tata Sons Natarajan Chandrasekharan. Please keep the name in mind. Next, students, David Bennett, world first human, receives a pig heart transplant, students. So very interestingly, a US man has become the first person in the world to get a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig. David Bennett, 57, is doing well 3 days after the experimental 7-hour procedure in Baltimore. Now, students, this is known as, such cross transplants. They are known as xenotransplantation, students. And this is done to meet the demand, which has been long considered, and using pig heart valves is already common. Pigs are increasingly becoming popular candidates for organ transplantation, students. So even though this is being hailed as one of the, like a big medical breakthrough, however, it does raise some ethical, concerns. So ethical concerns or moral pain points related to animal rights and patient safety and religious concerns. Next, students, PM Modi inaugurated MSME Technology Center. On the occasion of the National Youth Day 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually inaugurated an MSME Technology Center, which will be functional under the Union Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises in Puducherry. And the technology center was built at a cost of rupees 122 crore with a focus on the electronic system design and manufacturing sector. So we all know that the government, advancing the manufacturing sector is high on the agenda and priority of the present government. And it is believed that this center, it's going to, support a number of startups and MSMEs, and it's going to instill an entrepreneurial spirit. The center was inaugurated during the inauguration event of the 25th National Youth Festival in Puducherry. And he also inaugurated Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas Mani Mandapam, a modern auditorium with an open-air theatre in Puducherry. Next, students, Cyprus detects new Deltacron Covid variant. So even as the number of Omicron cases are rising around the world, Cyprus has detected a yet new variant dubbed as the Deltacron that has a similar genetic background to the Delta variant, coupled with 10 mutations from Omicron. So this is like a combination of the two variants, two very common SARS-CoV-2 variants, Delta and Omicron. And the new variant from the lineage named B.1640.2 is believed to have infected 12 people in the country already, according to the yet-to-be peer-reviewed study supported by the French government. And it has shown the coexistence of Delta and Omicron, and this increases the chance of a new variant as a result of them trading genes. However, students, there also reports that probably there is no such variant. It's only detected due to some lab error or lab contamination. And we hope that's true. Next, students, Sher Singh B. Khalia has been appointed as CEO of Adani Power. So the Board of Directors of Adani Power Limited, a subsidiary of Adani Group, approved the appointment of Sher Singh B. Khalia as the Chief Executive Officer of Adani Power. And he's a chartered accountant who has served as a Managing Director in Gujarat Power Corporation. And earlier, he's worked as a managing director with Gujarat Corporation and got experience of the renewable power sector, especially the development of ultra mega renewable parks. Next, Global Private Banking Awards 2021, HDFC Bank has been named as the best private bank in India. This is the second award for HDFC in past few months. So HDFC Bank was named as the best private bank in India at the Global Private Banking Awards 2021. And this was organized by Professional Wealth Management in a virtual ceremony. So some important takeaways here. HDFC Bank, it is headquartered in Mumbai, founded in 1994. CEO Shashidhar Jagdishan and chairman is Atanu Chakraborty. And students, HDFC has been given this award for contributing to accelerate key trends, including digitalization, communication, and investment in environmental, social, and governance strategies. ISRO successfully tests cryogenic engine for Gaganyaan rocket students. So ISRO has successfully conducted the qualification test of cryogenic engine for Gaganyaan program for a duration of 720 seconds at ISRO Propulsion Complex, Mahendragiri, Tamil Nadu. So cryogenic engine students, it works on the, it works at very less temperatures, cryogenic technology for that matter. It works at very less temperatures. And the benefit is that, the thrust, the propulsion thrust that it provides is much greater than other propellants, the solid and liquid propellants that were used earlier. So according to the Space Agency, the performance of the engine met the test objectives and engine parameters were closely matching the predictions during the entire duration. And this successful long duration test is a major milestone for the human space program, Gaganyaan. So we all know, students, that Gaganyaan is the maiden human space flight mission. And it ensures the reliability and robustness of the cryogenic engine for induction into the human-related launch vehicle, Gaganyaan. Some important takeaways: ISRO's chairman and space secretary, the newly appointed S. Somnath, and ISRO is headquartered in Bengaluru, Karnataka, and established in 1969. India successfully test fires BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. So BrahMos, that is the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world. And the word BrahMos comes from Brahmaputra and Mascov. So these are the two rivers of India and Russia respectively. And we all know that BrahMos is a joint mission. It's a joint collaboration between India and Russia. So the launch was conducted by BrahMos Aerospace in close coordination with Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO. And this was successfully test fired from Integrated Test Range Chandipur off the coast of Odisha. And this is a major milestone in the way forward for the BrahMos program, the highly maneuverable missile cruise at supersonic speed for its maximum range. And we all know, I've already mentioned this, that's a joint venture between DRDO and NPO, Russia. And they've been continuously upgrading the powerful, highly versatile BrahMos missile. Next, students, India gives support to Sri Lanka to overcome forex crisis. So we all know that Sri Lanka is going through, a rough patch. It's going through its worst foreign exchange crisis ever. And the banks are, they are short of foreign exchange and they're not able to, they don't even have forex to meet some basic import needs. And also Sri Lanka has been massively hit by the third wave of COVID. So it is in these times that India has announced financial assistance of USD 900 million loans to Sri Lanka to help the island nation in building up its depleted foreign reserves and food imports. It must be noted that Sri Lanka is currently facing a shortage of almost all essential commodities due to a shortage of dollars to pay for the imports. And India is extending its support through the Reserve Bank of India. And these comprise deferment of Asian Clearing Union settlement of over USD 509 million and currency swap of USD 400 million. PM Narendra Modi declares January 16 as the National Startup Day, students. So January 16 has been declared as the National Startup Day. And this announcement was made by PM Modi during a week-long event celebrating innovation ecosystem as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And the Prime Minister interacted with more than 150 startups across different sectors. Now, the startups are categorized under 6 group students. So these are basically, based on 6 themes: growing from roots, nudging the DNA, from local to global, technology of future, building champions in manufacturing and sustainable development. So the startups have been, categorized into these 6 groups depending on the product or the service that they offer. And Prime Minister was of the view that Indian startups can easily make it to the global stage and reach other countries, and told the young entrepreneurs, don't just keep your dreams local, make them global. So we all know that the past 1 year, and in fact, the past few years have been wonderful for the Indian startups. Last year, 43 unicorns from India, 43 startups or newly created ventures have been announced as unicorn. They've achieved the unicorn status in the last 1 year. That means they've reached a valuation of over $1 billion. Next, students, legendary Kathak dancer Pandit Birju Maharaj passes away. Legendary Kathak dancer Pandit Birju Maharaj has passed away at the age of 83. He was the recipient of country's 2nd highest civilian award, Padma Vibhushan, and he was fondly called as Pandit Ji or Maharaj Ji. And he was a descendant of the Maharaj family of Kathak dancers, and which includes his 2 uncles, Shambhu Maharaj, very famous Kathak dancer, Lachu Maharaj, and his father and guru, Achan Maharaj. And he was also a singer par excellence, having command over Thumri, Dadra, Bhajan, and Ghazal. Last, students, Kohli quits as India's Test captain after 7 years in 2022. So Virat Kohli has stepped down as the Test captain of the Indian national cricket team after 7 years. This announcement, students, came soon after India's unexpected defeat against South Africa in the Freedom Series. And he guided the team to an unprecedented back-to-back Test series wins down under. When he started, he first led the nation's side in Test cricket in 2014. And since then, he's been guiding the team to back-to-back, wins. And Kohli has thanked former head coach Ravi Shastri and former captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni in a statement. And recently, students, Kohli had stepped down as India's T20 captain. And following that, he was removed as the ODI captain ahead of South Africa tour. And very soon after, he's also resigned as the Test captain.